right, number two is TVS. TVS stands for the Total View School. It's accessed in the OLS, and it has several important features that you'll need in the first couple weeks of school. So, number one, the key thing to know is that it provides you with an easy access to your rosters, both your homeroom and your content kids. And this is an easy way to email them to communicate. It's a fairly simple, actually a very simple way to email all of your students at one time or to pick and choose from the list which ones you need to email. You can also look at their grades in your course, but in other courses too. So this is really nice to have on hand when you're trying to go through your homeroom students and see how they're doing, as you can pull up their grades in on the TVS roster. At the end of the year, you're going to be asked to have your students choose their registration status. And so I'm going to show you how to find that tab for when the need arises. And then I added on here how to view shipments. And the reason I added this is because I know when I was a new teacher at GCA, a lot of my learning coaches wanted to know how they could find their shipment status for their students. So when their students were going to get their materials. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And then finally, I'm going to show you how to use it as a starting point to find some other resources. Okay, here we go with TVS, which is Total View School. Like I said, we're going to start at the OLS homepage. And up here at our tab, we're going to go down and choose Total View School. So I just went over how to access and what the main functions of Total View are. Now I'm going to show you how to find these functions. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is how to find a whole roster so that you can look at specific students. You can search for students by classroom option or by the student option. Generally, I'm trying to pull up a whole class at a time, so I'm going to use the classroom option. I am going to search by my last name. And here you see all of my list of options or courses that are assigned to me. This year's courses, next year's courses, and then my homeroom courses. So I'm just going to choose one. I'm going to choose my homeroom. And the first page just shows that I'm the primary teacher. Nothing super important there, maybe your total number of students, but that's it. What's going to be important is going to my Students tab. All right, at my Students tab, you are given your student's name, the enrollment date, which can be important because it is interesting to know or makes the difference whether our student is brand new with us or whether they've been with us for several years. If they're brand new, they're definitely going to require some extra support from you. You can see grade level, whether or not they're in special education or have an IEP, when they last logged in to the OLS, which is going to be important for attendance purposes, and then whether or not they have chosen to re-register next year. And that will not be needed until the end of the year. But just so you know, here is where you would go to check registration. You can click on registration and it will let you filter for the different options. So when I mentioned registration status here, that is right here. This also brings you to your first opportunity to mass email all of your students at one time. You can simply click all, and it will highlight all of your students, and then you can press New Message. This new message goes directly to their GA Cyber email, and they can respond, and it will go directly to your GA Cyber email inbox. You don't have to log into this or anything like that to receive responses. You're not going to choose New Note unless you're directly told to, instructed to. This is going to be used for purposes like you can mark things as note if the Department of Ed requires us to take a participation survey or specific attendance things. But unless you're specifically told to, New Note is not the option you want to go. So you would simply click New Message and it pops up. Well, I'll show you. It pops up in just an email template. Okay, and again, this goes directly to your GA Cyber. So you would scroll down and hit send. From this point, you can also go to grade marks. Grade marks is where your At the end of each semester, your OHS is going to talk to your TVS. So you're going to be asked to transfer. It's very easy. You're going to export your grades from your OHS to TVS. And then in TVS, you just have to verify that there are indeed grades there. Again, this is not going to be until the end of the semester, and it's not going to be complicated. So it's nothing to stress about now. I just want you to know where that is located. All right, going back to my student roster, this is where I was talking about you could go to check on your student shipments. So I'm going to click on a specific student. And from my specific student, I can see on the courses and classroom page, the first page that pops up, I can see all of her courses. I can see the hours that she attended. I can see what her average is. And there's a small overlap or disconnect, excuse me, between the OHS and the TVS. Sometimes it takes overnight or sometimes 48 hours for the TVS to update once the teachers are changing grades in OHS. So just be aware of that. But this is a neat place to go and quickly, sometimes I take my homeroom roster and I go through and just see how many courses each student's passing. And then I can go into their OHS and try to help them catch up. So there is that. Here is your recent shipment. So at the beginning of the year, you're probably going to be getting questions about what materials are my student getting and have they shipped, et cetera, et cetera. This is where you would go. You can click on their order number to see the details. The details will tell you what they are receiving because they're not going to receive materials for every class. Some classes, all their materials are online. So that's a neat place to go and check that. And then hardware is specific computers. So whether or not they are eligible to receive a school-funded computer, you can check that here. And whether or not they've been shipped and or delivered, and there's a tracking number too. So this is kind of especially for our new students, this could be a very, very, very important place for you to be. At the bottom, there are a tab that shows you other siblings that might be enrolled with GCA. Just it could be an interesting fact that helps you build relationships with students, or you might have taught another student. So more family information can be listed here too, along with the family tab and things like that. So there are lots of different things that you can find on this specific student overview. Back to the homepage. So I'm at TotalView again. The last thing I want to show you is the top right-hand corner. You have a link that will take you directly to your GA Cyber inbox. You have a link that will take you to your Class Connect sessions. I'm not going to go to Class Connect here because generally there are going to be other ways for you to enter Class Connect. So there is that option, but this is not generally going to be the way that you enter Class Connect, more than likely. And then your quick links, you can click here to take you directly to the OLS online school homepage. And there are some other tabs that may be beneficial to you, but probably not right now at the start of the school year. So that is it for TotalView School.